Chad, Dave, and Steve so far. Good morning, everybody. Oh, chip cooler here, about 53 this morning. But it's supposed to be back up in the 80s. So I'm looking next Sunday, high is 59, it looks like. So changes are coming. Everybody's sounding pretty good so far. I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Terry, and turn it over to Chad. WD4OUM, WB4NKL.
K4YBC.
WD4OUM. Well, good morning, everybody. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A high of 59 degrees. I'm going to have to get them thermal underwear out in my flannel shirts. So, there you go. What's happening up yonder, Chadwick? KN4RCL, WD4OUM.
In Carolina, it is 50 degrees this morning. Sunshine. Looks like it's going to be a pretty day. First you said to give it to Dave, so I'm guessing you meant LRR. That's why I don't know which state to turn it to. If it is one of King Branch, he needs one of them old man alarm clocks. Comes pre-programmed with stuff it and the weather forecast for Burr Bank and Bug Tussle and Dog Track. KN4RCL, WA4LR.
KN4RCL, I'm Drew. WA4LR. Good morning, Chad and everybody else. 51 degrees. Some fog. And boy, things are still long. It's a mighty strong station still coming in here, so I'm surprised you boys can hear me at all. Sorry about yesterday morning. I overslept. I didn't wake up for what time? 20 minutes till 9, I guess, somewhere in there. But anyway, doing a little better every day, I reckon. So I think it goes back to you, Cliff. WB4NKL, WA4LLR.
That goes to Steve, and then Steve turned it over to Cuz, K4YBC. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. N4LQ. Yeah, good morning, everybody. And it's 58 degrees. I think it's the same temperature it was here yesterday in Shelby. I am running a DX-40. DX-40, which I drug off the shelf, and it puts out about 6 watts. But I'm driving the amplifier, and it's up to about 80. And of course, it's got like 150% modulation, so it's kicking up there to 1200 PEP. Anyway, just thought I'd give it a try. Over to you there, Dave, K4YBC, N4LQ.
Go ahead, Cuz.
Okay, I heard that WB0 in there. But, yeah, good morning, everybody. Sorry I wasn't in here yesterday morning, but I had to go to VA. They gave me a 2,500 mile checkup on my store-bought knees. And he said I was good for another 2,500 or 5,000 miles. Anyway, okay, real fine. And Steve, that DX-40 sounds great, man. Of course, all your rigs sound good, Steve. But man, that thing sounds really good. Great audio on it. I never owned a DX-40, but I remember
working a lot of stations back in the day using DX-40s. Anyway, and Terry, I know you was out a couple of days last week, and I called Leanne to go check on you, but she's in jail. She got in a fight with a bag lady over a shopping cart, and they just threw her in jail, so maybe you can go down and see her. Oh, Lord. WK4NKL, K4YDC.
WK4.
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Ooh, ain't supposed to talk that quick. Just got in here. Don't know anything, can't say anything, hadn't seen anything. But Cuz is back. Cuz Brandon sent, probably sent it to everybody, I don't know. Sent me a message where they got, you can go ride a B-17 in Greenville, South Carolina this weekend. I think it's about a 30-minute ride for a mere, what was it, $550?
K4JL.
Now go ahead, Jimmy, and turn it back to me.
Well, okay. I ain't doing much. I just followed Rick over here from our other little network. Ricky wants to go ride a B-17 at the rate of $22 a minute. That numbed me out, so I'm going to have to give it back to you, Cliff. K4JL.
Anybody else wanting to join? I guess that's it for right now. It's WB4NKL. Okay, Jimmy, that's kind of pricey, but Brandon did that back, I guess that was back in the spring or sometime earlier in the year. I guess it's, you know, if you really want to do it, it's probably not out of reach. Just where you want to put your priorities, I guess. Steve, the DX-40 sounds good. I'm seeing that jump in the on the S meter. It's about 10 dB or so jump on this Collins meter. I don't know how, you know, years ago screen modulation sort of had a bad rap. People didn't think it was as good, but from what I experienced and heard, I can't say that plate modulation is all that much better. But like I say, back in the day, it had a bad rap. Steve, I've got a T150, but it's one I want to get on the air sometime. 150A that I got from Eric up in at Terry's Ham Fest there a few years ago, and I've got the matching R100A receiver I picked up. Both of them are in good shape, but I'll have to keep a looking. I'll see if I can find you one. And you was talking about getting a citation with it. I was reading some article that they had overcoupled that transmitter on 80 meters, and that the second harmonic was only about 20 dB down. So you maybe didn't have it tuned up wrong. Maybe it was just characteristics of the radio. They recommended it's like a 1,000 picofarad coupling capacitor, and they recommended going down to 100 or something to help on that second harmonic. Send it on around. Go ahead, Terry. WD4 or OUM. It's WB4NKL.
WD4OUM. Well, good morning, rest of you yahoos. And Uncle Dave, well, this pertains to everybody. Yesterday I was fiddling around on the computer, and lo and behold, I ran across the Country Family Reunion full episodes. If you're hunting it, you have to put the full episodes in there. But what it is, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them. I'm talking about the old country stars, one we grew up with. you know, was sitting around telling jokes and actually telling stories about being on the road. And now one of them would sing every now and then. One episode it was all gospel. All the songs were gospel. But I watched several different ones there yesterday while I was washing clothes and everything. But I had the best time in the world. I laughed, I cried. Me and the Lord had a good talk, and I reflected back on my life and everything, and I realized, you know, the old devil wants you to be just as mean as you can be. Well, I was about 10 times meaner than what he wanted me to be. I've done a lot of things that I ain't proud of, but anyway, I was sitting there and I realized, you know, the Lord has forgiven me of all that crap, and we're good to go. So anyway, if y'all got time and everything, you ought to kind of look that up on the computer. It's Country Family Reunion, full episodes, and there's several of them, and I guarantee you're going to like it. Even had old Boxcar Willie on there, and Jeannie Seeley and Wanda Jackson, and Jan Hurd. I could go on and on, but I can't remember all of them. Anyway, I think any and all you fellas probably enjoy that. So there you go. KN4RCL, WD4OUM.
KN4RCL, and that's a good deal, Terry. Sound like you enjoyed yourself yesterday. And about anything you can find on the internet, YouTube. That's for sure. And Jeannie Seeley, you said, I seen her in person at Dollywood singing. So, yeah, that's some old time stuff there. So, I reckon she's still alive and kicking. So I'll send it down to KN4RCL, WA4LR.
KN4RCL and the group, WA4LR. All right, fine business. Well, Terry, that's great. Praise the Lord. It reminds me of something Martin Luther said. I'm not necessarily a big Martin Luther fan, but he made a good comment. He said, your sins are either on your shoulders or on Jesus Christ. You choose. And we're either carrying it around or we repent and it's put on Christ, and he has carried it for us. So boy, that's the best news on that. And it's sounded like you had a good time, buddy, and that's what we all need, for sure. Well, let's see here. Like I said, 51 degrees over here. Looks like it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. And fine business on the B-17. Yeah, I believe Brandon purchased him a ride on this thing last year. It was. I'd love to do it, but I don't want to do it that bad. Anyhow, not a whole lot going on. We've got a therapy coming sometime this morning. And tomorrow we go back to see the surgeon and see if we can get these staples out and see what he says about getting loose. So, Steve, the DX-40 sounds really good, buddy. That's and I have to agree with Dave. All your radios sound good. M4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. One of these days I'm going to have to come up with a bad sounding radio just to check you guys, because I just can't believe that they all sound good. Maybe it's the D104 microphone, I don't know, but I have to be careful with this thing. It doesn't have any gain control on the audio, no modulation gain at all. Not even inside, it's fixed. So the solution to that, according to Heathkit, is to move away from the microphone. So I had to turn the volume down on the mic underneath all the way. Well, let's see, Cliff, this request for a T150 started yesterday. I got a call from KZ4B, John, who that came up in the conversation, and he got one somewhere for almost nothing at a ham fest, and it was wrapped in plastic, and the guy sold it to him for just, I don't know, $30 or something like that. And when he got home, he unwrapped it, and he said it looked like a new one. So he's talking about putting it on the air, and he wanted to know how to get it to sound good. And I told him the secret to screen modulation is to load it as heavily as you possibly can. So you load it for the highest power that it would be on peak, and you can start out by loading it up on CW for the highest power you can get, and then just crank the loading up just a little bit more, and then go back to AM. And you don't get the maximum carrier power that way. It kind of hurts that, but when you talk, it'll kick up there and give you lots of modulation. I think this is a little bit too much. Yeah, screen modulation, what I want to know is a good definition for the difference between screen modulation and control carrier. And it seems that both of them control the carrier. It's just wired a little bit different. Control carrier seems to cause more fluctuation in the carrier level, but don't know. I just have to, the modulator tube has a resistor going to ground on some of them, and on other ones there isn't any. And that seems to be the only difference in control carrier versus screen modulation. One's controlling the voltage, the other's controlling the current, which ends up doing the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, so the T150 has got two 6146s. I figure it's going to have at least twice the output because it's got full plate voltage, 700 volts, and it should have a lot more carrier power. And screen modulation's okay as long as you get it loaded up right. So, and find Terry on the country family reunion. I got that wrote down here, so I'll take a look at it. Okay, Dave, take it away. K4YBC, N4LQ.
N4LQ, K4YBC. Okay, real fine. I guess you're talking about was y'all talking about the Heathkit T150? I think maybe that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I built one of those way back when, and I enjoyed mine. I made a lot of contacts with it, and I even padded the oscillator a little bit and got it down on CB. Used it on CB, and I enjoyed it. Nice little rig. We're up to 53 degrees here now, and today's Tuesday, so I guess we'll go down to the Boxcar Grill to get them steak tips and mushroom gravy and all that good stuff, so looking forward to that. Drove up to Ashford yesterday and back. Man, it was such a beautiful day up there. I actually enjoy driving the interstate. It's really pretty, and the leaves are starting to turn, and everything is really, really nice. Not much going on here, other than I did get the grass mowed Saturday, and I don't think I'm gonna have to mow again. I really don't, because it looks like maybe won't have to mow anymore. Of course, I'll have to vacuum up the leaves. I ain't looking forward to that, but that's just something we got to do. That would be B4NKL to take it, K4YBC.
It goes to Jimmy. Go ahead, Jimmy.
K4JAL. Well, I got a mouthful of tenderloin right now. Life is good. I sent my 572Bs back to China. I bought them on eBay. They said they'd pay me back when they hit from China in November. So maybe I'll get my money back. So I'm running my 811 on two 811s because the other one blowed up. But I'm not running it now. I'm on my rice box. So that's all the news that's fit to print. I'm going to give it over to Terry, or no, Cliff. WB4NKL, K4JAL.
Rick's in there somewhere.
Yeah, it should have went to Rick. I missed it. Go ahead, Rick.
WK4. Cliff needs another cup of coffee, maybe. Anyway, that was a B29 that Brandon did last year. But anyway, I guess as most of everybody, I've had screen and control carrier, all the good stuff, and had good luck with all of it. So it all sounds good, really. And Steve can tell us the different ways to load it sound good. I had heard the first part on the screen, Steve, where you just max it out, but never heard turn the load a little more. But anyway, Terry, that sounds great. Hate I missed out on it. Have to listen to it. And got an appointment today with the insurance agent on Medicare. He's with Humana and several other companies, but apparently there's some changes this year. And he said it was for the better. So we'll go to the meeting this morning and see what the changes are. Now I'm confused. I guess I gave it to Cliff since I was giving it to Jimmy. Anyway, W4NKL, WK4.
Yeah, WK4R, it's WB4NKL. Well, my problem is I can't read my own scribbling. I made a list, but I don't know. I need some lessons and less keeping, I guess. Terry, I was wondering. I wrote that down here. I'll check it out when it was recorded. I don't know if Boxcar Willie's still around or not. Some of the others maybe you named there. I wonder if you know when it was actually produced. But I will check it out. And daughter, she's going out to Las Vegas. Chad ought to know about that. There's a venue out there. The rock group U2 is going to play. They got all these this big new thing. It's designed for rock music. So I don't know how many thousand speakers and how many pixels, all kinds of stuff like that. They're going to go out and check it out. So I guess we'll be cat sitting again here before long. Chad, I don't know, you maybe check that out, or it might just be something new they've got online up there. And let's see, Steve, I've got a D104 head around here. If you want something that sounds bad, but I'll have to hunt for it, but I've got one that sounds bad, according to everybody. I had it on a Johnson 500 one day. Like it was hurting their eyes. It had some kind of a problem with it. Like I put an X on the back of it. And let's see. I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Terry. WD4OUM. It's WB4NKF.
WD4OUM. Well, Cliff, there's several different ones of them, and you can tell by looking at the people. It looks like, you know, a few years apart when they were produced. So, anyway, Jenny Seeley looked pretty good in a couple of them, but the last one I watched, oh man, she looks like she'd aged 20 years. But, oh well. And, yeah, I'm sure the biggest part of them are gone now. But it sure was good. And when I get time, I'm gonna get back in there and look around, see if I can find some more that I didn't watch. I'd actually like. I seen one on TV one time. Bill Anderson was a host of it too, but they had Roy Clark, Buck Trent, and a bunch of other people on there, and I really liked old Roy Clark. But anyway, everything I watched yesterday was good, so there you go. And you fellas talking about plate modulation versus screen modulation. Well, I got one for you here. Cuz when it gets around your term, explain loop modulation to them, so that'll straighten them out. And who would actually pay money to get on an airplane? I quit that old stuff. KN4RCL, WD4OUM.
I will actually pay to get on an airplane to go to Las Vegas or Orlando, into one. Well, what you're talking about is the MSG Sphere. It's out there. It's part of the Venetian and Palazzo complex next door to the Wynn out there in Las Vegas, and just above Harris and the Wing station on the monorail. So I just wondering if your daughter is going to go out there and watch YouTube when it premieres. They've been building that thing. Well, it's owned by Sheldon Anderson, and he was the richest man in the world, they say. But he died midway during construction, but he put up so many billions of his own money to build all that. And it's supposed to seat about 17,000 people, and it's just a big round ball with LEDs all around it. You can either, you can look it up online, and they've had it look like a basketball just sitting there, and they've had it to look like an eyeball, somebody's eye going around, looking around. Kind of strange, you know. But I've stayed there at the Venetian. It's about $500 a night, but the bathroom does have a television set with full, you got like 100 and some channels. That is kind of nice. You can't sit on the commode and watch TV because the commode's in a separate room, but you can put on your TV and watch something while you're in the shower. I ain't never done that before, so I tried to I watched the news, Fox News that is, and probably some of the Family Guy show in the shower. That was pretty neat, but it was very expensive, like I said, $500 a night. And it's got one of them places, you can push a button, and the blinds are remote, so you can either open or close the curtains by a button. You can press another button, and the bed will turn. It's one of them round beds that turns completely 360, spins just like a record table or something. And it's one of them, like you put a quarter in to have a massage, but it takes $5 bills. So, I wonder if she'll be staying at the Palazzo in Venetian. But, that's going to be one heck of a venue. She's going out there to see YouTube whenever they premiere in October, or whenever they have the grand opening for that. KM4RCL, go ahead. WA4LR.
Alrighty. KM4RCL, WA4LR. Well, it already premiered this past weekend. YouTube did a show getting the Las Vegas Sphere open. Pretty amazing. You can get on YouTube and look at video clips. That thing is covered in 580,000 square feet of LED. And man, I'm telling you, they can make it look like anything from a smiley face to a giant eyeball to, it's incredible if you've not seen it. Just do a search for the Las Vegas Sphere. And I watched a little bit of YouTube's performance this weekend out there. I'm not a major YouTube fan, but boy, the visual effects were something else. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, I used to have a Heathkit T150, and they do have quite a bit. What did the CBS call it? When the modulation had some pretty good peaks on it. But I let mine go to somebody that wanted it worse than I did. I didn't care much for the matching receivers. They just weren't up to par, in my opinion. But kind of a neat little rig. As soon as I get a little more straightened out, able to get around a little better, I've got to get to work on the power supply for that Babcock mobile transmitter. Anyway, on down to you, Steve. And oh yeah, if you need something to make it sound bad, I've got I think I've got an old D104 head that everybody tells me sounds terrible, and I've got a Electro Voice. What is that Electro Voice that people used to search after? Kind of an elongated mic. I can't remember. 60, not 66. I can't remember what it was. But it sounds terrible too, so between Cliff and me, we can fix you up. N4LQ, WA4LR.
N4LQ, I really appreciate that. But I've got some microphones that sound bad, and I've got some D104s that don't sound at all. Well, half of them that I've gotten at Hamfest are deader than a doorknob. So the problem is finding the transmitter that sounds bad. I don't know. These little old cheap transmitters they made back in the 50s and 60s, they all pretty much sound the same. I mean, what can you do with a 12AX7 preamp and a D104 driving a 6146 or a sweep tube or whatever? There's not going to be a whole lot of difference in how they sound, I wouldn't think. And the DX-40 sounds okay, and so forth. But now I've heard DX60s that consistently sound bad, and I think it's just either the loading is not up high enough or they're using a bad microphone. But anyway, you need to be honest with people when you give them a audio report and say it sounds bad. And I'm anxious to hear about the loop modulation. I've heard the term, but I don't know what it means. I am modulating a loop, but it's up 100 feet in the air. But apparently you got something else going there, Dave. So tell us about that. And I like Roy Clark too. I love to listen to his guitar picking. It's just amazing. And I have no urge to get on a B-17. I don't think, that's pretty old, and it might be risky. So, anyhow, back over to you, Dave. K4YBC. I think you turn it to Cliff. YBC N4LQ, and I'm probably wrong. It probably goes to somebody else. Go ahead.
Okay, real fine. Yeah, I think it goes up to Jimmy. Okay, real fine. And I'm like the rest of you guys. I always loved to listen to Roy Clark, and man, that man could play a guitar. I'm telling you. He was amazing with that guitar. As far as I'm concerned, he was probably just as good as Chet Atkins or any of these other guys that were noted for their guitar picking. And I think Brendan, he rode the B-29, and I believe you said this was a B-17. So quite a bit of difference. And of course, you remember, was it last spring, that B-17 down in Texas? It got cut in two by a P-39 Airacobra or something that was putting on a show down there, and destroyed the B-17 and the Bell aircraft also, and killed, I don't know, 4 or 5 people. And loop modulation. It's not what you think. Actually, way back in the day, when radio was just coming along, they tried everything to modulate to get voice out of it. And the way I understand it, they used a coil hooked to a microphone and preamp, and it was inside the tank coil. So needless to say, it could be very dangerous too. I think they outlawed it, but anyway, they actually tried that to modulate the rig by using a coil inside the tank coil. It induced the current into the plate coil some way. I don't know. W7IUC could explain that to you. So anyway. And Chad, I don't think I'll be going out there and doing anything. That's a little bit out of my price range, so there you go. And by the way, Jimmy, I think I've got some 811s here. They're used, but I think they'll work. If you'd like to have them, I'll send them up to you. I think I've got maybe have three of them. I'm not sure. I know I've got 2. So if you need them, you're welcome to them. K4JAL, K4YBC.
K4YBC, K4JAL. Well, that's mighty kind, cuz. Just tell me what you want for them, and I'll get you my address. Well, it's simple. We'll get around to that. But I want to pay you for them. I don't take charity yet. That's probably on the agenda, though. And Steve, to make you feel better, you sound a little scratchy, as in not as bad as Scratchy Apache, but scratchy. So that'll give you something to work on. There you go. And I like the idea of that loop modulation. It sounds like you could electrocute an announcer with that, and that needs to happen more. So I'll give it on over to Rick now, KN4R K4JAL. WK4R.
He still wants me to be Brian, don't he? WK4R. Terry, if you get an urge to be mean one day, I guess you could ride down to Cliff's shop and put an X on the back of all his D104s and let him guess. I don't know. But anyway. And as for microphones, there's one award that Brother Dave still holds. He still holds the record for the ugliest mic in the world as far as I'm concerned. I've not seen one worse yet anyway. Anyway, WB4NKL, WK4R.
WK4R, it's WB4NKL. All right, good copy all the way around. Chad, I got a message from her. She says, and she sent a link to that venue, and her message said we're booked. So I'm not sure when that's coming about. I guess we'll find out here pretty quick. And I don't know where she's staying or anything. I'd say she'll let us know here, and when we'll have to start cat sitting and all that. He's talking about early modulation. I know I guess one of the first times that they actually modulated something, they had a carbon mic in series with the antenna, and I think that overheated some, so they've come up with a water-cooled carbon mic so they can run more power through it. And I forget what they were exciting it with. I don't know if it was one of those alternator, Alexanderson alternators, or it might have been one of the arc transmitters. But I'd say that sounded kind of rough back in the day. That was in the early, it was before people even thought about hearing a voice over there. I remember reading about it, and they, ships at sea were hearing this, a voice coming over where they'd been hearing code before. So something new they were experimenting with, modulation. Let's see, talking about, to me, that controlled carrier, I think of the Drakes, and they don't quite sound as good to me for some reason. They don't sound as good as the other rigs for some reason. You can usually tell them, and they communicate all right, but they just don't sound as good. And let's see, night kits. I had the little brother of the T150. I had the T60s, what I started out with, and it had some screen modulation on it too. So I've got one here. I might have to dig it out one day and hook it up, see if it sounds as good as the DX-60s. Go ahead, Terry. WD4OUM. It's WB4NKL.
WD4OUM. Well, T150. N4JK down in Destin, Florida, runs T150. Part of the time, sounds real good. Actually, I think it sounds better than the Flex he runs, but oh well. Anyway, and fellas, don't let cuz yank your chains. Now, you remember a few years ago he said he was the one that put that first radio station on the air up there in Pennsylvania somewhere, loop modulated. You know, he's at the age he can't remember all the stuff he said. Of course, he said a lot. But please don't get him started on these parking spots. Oh, me. And Chad, you ain't right. $500 a night. And, hey, come over here to Burbank. I'll rent you a room. I've got a bunch of TVs sitting around here, and I'll pick one up and carry it in there and set it right in front of the commode if you want me to. Yeah, I'll give you a cut rate price, $450 a night, with the TV right in front of the commode. And Rick, I have just about quit going down to Cliff's house. When I go down there, he follows me around like a little puppy dog. He used to, you know, have this rag he carried around. When I got close to that 500 down there, I'd slobber a little bit, and he'd reach over, you know, wipe the slobbers off of it, and kind of shine a little bit and everything. But he finally covered that thing up and wouldn't even let me over close to it. But nah, I give up on that. But oh well. KN4RCL, WD4OUM.
I was working, Terry, and go to YouTube and type in old Windows Opry performances from the 1950s and 1960s. You should find all you want of old country music and gospel music from the 1950s and 1960s. And also, I think where Steve is live streaming this broadcast live on YouTube, so that's pretty neat too. And that is pretty neat. At MSG Spear, what's the name of it, out there in Las Vegas. But I don't know, it's expensive, but I don't know if I'll pay that again to the experience. I would say no. So, Terry, you just out of luck. I've done it one time, and I won't do it again. So you can keep your room. KN4RCL. Go ahead, WA4LR.
Alrighty. KN4RCL, that's true. WA4LR. Well, I've not got much loss in Vegas. We worked out in California for 2 years. Out of Death Valley. And we used to have to go into Vegas about every 2 weeks to fly. And we'd drive in, go by different places. We had to pick up supplies to the national park out there and spend the night and then head back. We missed most of the shows and stuff, and we did see some good shows. I watched Johnny Cash, the Atler Brothers, Marty Robbins. Wayne Newton, believe it or not, he put on a good show, and enjoyed it. But I don't know, that's just not my thing. The glamour, the glitter, the gambling, and on and on. Now, Irvina liked it. She'd rather play a slot machine than to eat, but I didn't care much about it. And I've really had no desire to go back, so there you go. Anyway, let's see here, what else is going on? Not a whole lot. I'll hang in here for one more go-round. N4LQ, WA4LR.
Okay, WA4LLR, N4LQ. Yeah, well, let's see, Jimmy, I appreciate audio report, and I think the problem I have is I get close to the mic and I start flat topping a little bit because it's real touchy. I'm going to have to reduce the gain on this transmitter somehow. Anyway, scratchy. So it sounds like this. That's scratchy. I don't know what scratchy sounds like, but it's probably clipping. So I'll listen to the video when I get done here. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I'm going to look for a water-cooled carbon mic in the meantime, and I'm going to get ready for the next net. So I'll say my 73 is here, and it's been fun. Turn it over to Dave, K4YBC, N4LQ.
N4LQ, K4YBC. Okay, Steve, real fine. Well, have a great day, my friend, and we'll try to talk to you again tomorrow. And don't listen to Terry. You know, I'm not. Well, I did teach Marconi the Morse code, but other than that, I'm not that old. And Jimmy, let me make sure I've got those tubes. Seems like I might have sent some over to Terry at one time. I'm not sure. But let me make sure I've got them, and then I'll get back with you. And you're welcome to them, and no charge, because I've got no use for them. So let me check, make sure I got them, and I'll get back with you. And I guess your address is okay on QRZ. Well, I'm going to say 7-3s too, gentlemen. Everybody have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow. K4JAL to take it. K4YBC. I'll be listening here. Go ahead, Jimmy. Over.
K4YBC, K4JAL. Well, thank you very much, cuz. You're a good citizen, and I'm mad at old Terry for being mean to you and Chad about your various difficulties. I don't doubt they exist, but it ain't polite to talk about them. Terry, for you, there's a woman 104 years old in Chicago just skydived. Maybe you ought to try it. As far as Vegas is concerned, I used to have to go out there and work trade shows and crap like that, and I guess I'm the only person that ever went to Vegas that always went to bed by 9. That's what I think of that place. So that now that I've aired all of my vinegar, let's turn it over to WK4R. I got it right that time, Rick. K4JAL.
Impressive. WK4R. Well, it's getting long in the tooth, and I'm getting powerful hungry, so it's time to go fix some breakfast. My cook took off to go get her nails done, so I guess I'm going to have to cook it if I'm going to eat it. We will talk to y'all tomorrow if all goes well. 7-3. W4NKL, K4R, listening.
Okay, Rick. WB4NKL. 73's full, and let's see, Steve, we got out. I guess I'll get out tape about 15 or 9. I'll try to check into the other net. Yeah, I don't, never been to Vegas, and years ago I probably would have went, but now I think they'd have to pay me to go. And I don't think anybody's going to do that, so I don't guess I'll be going. I went out, wouldn't mind going to see the Hoover Dam. It's pretty close. But as far as the gambling and the lights and stuff, I'll pass. 73s, catch you guys in the morning. Go ahead, Terry, WD4OUM. It's WB4NKL.
WD4OUM. Well, I don't know about all of you. Anyway, the way I always looked at life, I want to do everything I possibly could so I wouldn't be sitting on a front porch in a rocking chair saying, I wished I'd have done that when I was young. So I guess that's the reason I'm in the shape that I'm in. So there you go. Anyway, you fellas have a good and we catch you when we catch you, I guess. KN4RCL WD4OUM.
KN4RCL, mighty fine, Terry, mighty fine. Get on the YouTube and find you some old country broadcasts from the 1950s and 1960s and watch them and have a big old time with Jamie Seeley, George Jones, and Boxcar Willie, and Lloyd Clark, and all of them. Then I'll say 73s also, and get on out of here, because everybody else is getting on out of here. I'll talk to you in the morning. Turn it down to WA4LOR, and if nobody's around, you can put the ribbons on it.
All right. I can do it. Fellas, I've enjoyed it. Everybody have a great day. 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll catch you in the morning. So, if there's nothing else going on or nobody left, we'll shut her down. To WA4LOR 7-3.